We've got some very breaking, very important news as far as Epstein is concerned. So to set the stage here, you might have heard Trump get asked this question on Tuesday morning.
Do you support the Justice Department seeking an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell? Did you urge the Attorney General to seek?
I don't know anything about it. They're going to what? Meet her?
Your Deputy Attorney General has reached out to Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney asking for a new interview.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do, yeah.
Do you have any concern that your Deputy Attorney General, as your former attorney, would be conducting the interview, given...
No, I have no concern. He's a very talented person. He's very smart. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's sort of a witch hunt, just a continuation of the witch hunt.
So that was Trump saying that he had no idea that his Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, had approached the attorneys for Ghislaine Maxwell about meeting with her. Todd Blanche was also Trump's criminal defense attorney for his criminal trial in New York in 2024, during which he was convicted on 34 felony counts. So Trump is contending here that he had no idea that his personal attorney, Todd Blanche, initiated contact with Ghislaine Maxwell over the Epstein situation. Now, here's why I would bet my last dollar that that's a lie, and here's why any contact between Maxwell and Trump's DOJ is a blinking red light. So we can all see by now that Trump will do literally anything to get everybody to stop talking about Epstein. He's brought up denaturalizing Rosie O'Donnell, adding cane sugar to Coca-Cola, forcing the Washington Commanders to change their name to the Redskins, releasing the Martin Luther King Jr. files, reopening the investigation into Hillary's emails. Yes, we're back to Hillary's emails. And arresting Barack Obama for a definitely, totally legitimate scandal that he definitely didn't just pull out of his ass. All of which is to say, this dude is desperate to do anything to distract from the Epstein files, which means something in the Epstein files worries him to no end. And there is one person left on Earth who has more incriminating information as it relates to Jeffrey Epstein and his criminal associates than anyone else, and that would be Ghislaine Maxwell, who is currently sitting in a federal prison right now serving a 20-year term. If she's got information about Donald Trump, that could pose a pretty serious threat to him. After all, this issue very clearly means a lot to his base, so he has a vested interest in wanting to keep her quiet. How can he do that? Well, enter Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. Blanche released a statement saying, quote, "This Department of Justice does not shy away from uncomfortable truths, nor for the responsibility to pursue justice wherever the facts may lead. The joint statement by the Justice Department and FBI of July 6 remains as accurate today as it was when it was written, namely that in the recent thorough review of the files maintained by the FBI in the Epstein case, no evidence was uncovered that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. President Trump has told us to release all credible evidence. If Ghislaine Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims, the FBI and the DOJ will hear what she has to say. Therefore, at the direction of Attorney General Pam Bondi, I have communicated with counsel for Ms. Maxwell to determine whether she will be willing to speak with prosecutors from the department. I anticipate meeting with Ms. Maxwell in the coming days. Until now, no administration on behalf of the department has inquired about her willingness to meet with the government. That changes now." Now, let's be clear. Pam Bondi already has the Epstein files. She is the Attorney General of the United States. She can release them if she wanted to. She has Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony. She has the grand jury transcript summaries. She has literally everything. If she wanted to release it, she could. She could put it all to rest today. But instead, she and Blanche are now looking to go meet with Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, they're not going to find out anything new from Maxwell because, again, they already have all the information they need from her. So why else might they want to meet with Maxwell? Because if Maxwell has incriminating information on Donald Trump, which, by the way, Bondi would already be privy to thanks to the files that she has in her possession, then perhaps they might need to figure out a way to keep Maxwell quiet. And what tool does the president and the Department of Justice have at their disposal? Oh, I don't know. What could the Department of Justice possibly do to help out a prisoner serving out a 20-year sentence? What could a president, who's already handed out thousands of pardons for his pals, possibly do to help out a convict who would love nothing more than to leave that prison? Perhaps at a conveniently timed opportunity, say the day before Trump leaves office, he could actually grant her that pardon. So in this scenario, Trump, Bondi, and Blanche get to Maxwell, offer her a cushy deal in exchange for her silence on whatever it may be that Trump is so desperate to keep hidden, and Maxwell gets a get-out-of-jail-free card that comes due in January of 2029. This way, they get to buy her silence now when the heat is really bearing down on Trump, and in exchange, Maxwell will get her freedom over a decade early. Seems like a win-win for a pair of longtime friends, and to be clear, they are longtime friends.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and so a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. Do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach.
Mr. President, the other day a reporter asked you about Ghislaine Maxwell. You said, quote, "I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is." Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
I don't know that, but I do know that
She has. She's been arrested for that. You know
her
that.
friend or boyfriend
Epstein.
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck. Let them prove somebody was guilty. I mean, do you know that
Oh,
she's
so you're
guilty?
saying you hope she doesn't die in jail? Is that what you mean by wish her well?
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out, how did it happen? Was it suicide? Was he killed? And I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. I'm not looking bad for anybody. And they took that and
I mean,
they
she's
made
a
it
child
such,
sex, alleged child sex
such a
trafficker.
big deal. But all it is her boyfriend died. He died in jail. Was he killed? Was it suicide? I do. I wish her well.
And let's be clear, Trump knows that he has to move fast here because at the same time, the House Oversight Committee has voted to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell for testimony, meaning the White House has to get to Maxwell before Congress can get to her. Because once she tells Congress what she knows, then the toothpaste is already out of the tube, and she can't lie to Congress if they ask her certain questions before she's had the opportunity to speak with the DOJ. Isn't it interesting how Trump and Bondi and Blanche never offered to talk to Maxwell until Congress suddenly wanted to, and now suddenly we've got Blanche out here taking proactive steps to talk to this prisoner? Clearly, Trump wants to get to her first, because once he gets to her and possibly offers a deal, then Maxwell can make good on her end of the deal once she speaks to Congress. Which is to say, I don't think we should be surprised if suddenly her memory related to Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein begins to falter. I spoke with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett about the Oversight Committee moving to subpoena Maxwell and why it's important for Congress to talk to her as opposed to the DOJ.
One of our subcommittees, the Government Operations Subcommittee, I don't currently serve on that one anymore, but there actually was a motion to subpoena this woman who is currently serving a sentence, I believe, of 20 years to come and testify before the committee. That subpoena was actually prompted by a motion by Tim Burchett, is what I understand. And that motion did go forward. So again, I fully anticipate this was a bipartisan effort by those that serve on the subcommittee for government operations. And so there is, they are supposed to move forward with the subpoena. Now, what that looks like, I don't know, right? As someone who has practiced criminal defense, trying to get someone out of custody, and obviously we need to consult with her lawyer. I don't know if she still has things that are pending some way, somehow on appeal, that would potentially impact the level of truthfulness that we would get out of this. So definitely a lot of questions to be answered. But it is interesting that the committee itself, the subcommittee on oversight, decided to do this. And I think that I would trust this process more than I would trust the Department of Justice, right, kind of deciding that they're going to interview her and then ultimately potentially sanitizing the information that we get, or potentially engaging in some type of threats, or potentially offering a pardon if certain things were said, right? Or not said, So we obviously don't have pardons to offer. And if for some reason there is testimony that takes place, it would take place and both sides would be able to participate. So ultimately, I actually have to say, I would applaud Tim Burchett for attempting to get this done prior to the Department of Justice engaging in this type of conversation, because I don't know what may happen to that witness if the administration gets to her first.
I think that's the perfect point here, because It was released this morning that Todd Blanche, who is Trump's personal criminal defense attorney, who now has a job in the White House as Deputy Attorney General, reached out to Ghislaine Maxwell. And if the administration wanted transparency here, isn't it true that they could just release the tranche of files that they already have at their disposal? And so when we hear, for example, that they're going to go to unseal grand jury testimony, knowing that that's like a fraction, it's like 5 or 10% of what's contained already within the files, it's clear that they're just doing this as a distraction method or a delay method. And then when they go after, when they propose to Ghislaine Maxwell that they want to have a conversation with her, well, again, all of the pertinent information, all of the relevant information as it relates to Ghislaine Maxwell is already available in the files, which leads me to believe that if you're doing anything with Ghislaine Maxwell, you're not going to find out any new information because that investigation's already occurred. She's already been convicted. She's serving a 20-year sentence in prison. So at this point, are we crazy to think that the options that would be available to them are, okay, if you have further information, or if you have information that may very well incriminate, oh, I don't know, Donald Trump, for instance, we have a vested interest in keeping you quiet, and so here's what we could potentially offer you.
Yeah. It is sad to think that this is the type of thought process that we go through with our federal government here in the United States. But they have shown time and time again that they are crooked, that they are crooks, and they absolutely are not above any level of criminality. And so it's honestly what we should expect. We should expect them to do criminal things. This is somebody who is a con man and a convict. And so unfortunately, we have seen him misuse, things such as pardons, where it looks like there's a bit of pay for play. And so I absolutely fully anticipate that he may most likely offer her a get out of jail free card if she just fails to disclose certain things, or if she decides to say certain other things, right? But I do think that, considering the fact that she probably is the only person who was really intimately engaged with all levels of or the vast majority of criminality with Epstein, she is the person that can discredit or credit any information.
In other words, in the rare instances that the White House finally deigns to talk about Epstein, as opposed to just squawking about Obama and the Washington commanders, know that their goal is to never, never, never offer transparency. It is solely about protecting Trump. That's it. Again, if they wanted transparency, they would release the files that they literally have. This is not about transparency. It's not about disclosure. It is about protection. Everything they do from here is solely for the purpose of deceiving this country. So take any announcement from Trump or Bondi or Blanche with a full dose of skepticism. Because if we know one thing about Trump, it is that he will ensure that you never know the truth about Epstein so long as he has anything to do with it. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.